I'm vengeance.
Hey guys, before the video starts, I just want to acknowledge I have reached 100 subscribers. Thank you for everyone who even cared to click the button. I try to strive to be better than I was with each video, so please feel free to be constructive criticism. Now, let's get to unmasking the truth about this cesspool we call up. Find out my ideas for the Batman too. I saw the Batman like most people, and no surprise, I liked it. So much so, I'm not afraid to call it the best Batman film we've gotten. It feels like picking up an original graphic novel or one-shot that works perfectly in a vacuum. Robert Pattinson is the best Batman. He captures the character's brooding obsession with naivety and dry wit without coming across as one note. Zoe Kravitz is the most comic-accurate portrayal of Selina, showing her tenacity and flirtation, but vulnerability and compassion.
Come on, vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
Riddler was a great modernized interpretation that gets more closer to his comic book counterpart at the end, just some dork who thinks he's above everyone else. Penguin is great, Falcone is great.
And directly below.
Enemy sternum.
Alfred is good, need more of him.
Long before you've nothing.
I don't care about that. Any of that.
You don't care about your family's legacy.
What I'm doing is my family's legacy.
Score is great, cinematography is masterful, great movie, 9 out of 10. I do want to talk about my theater experience. I saw this movie opening night and a group of teenagers were talking loudly, putting their phone flashlights on at several points, while a couple was laughing really loud. Second time I went to watch the movie, it was much better, but a guy would constantly say what he's thinking out loud, and I just wanted to die. How do you pay that much money to act like you're at home?
I'm like, stop fucking talking! Internalize!
I didn't go in depth about my review because frankly what everyone else has said is my thoughts, but I did want to talk about an idea I had for a sequel to The Batman. I'll break up this video into sections, starting with characters, then story, and finally theme. I love the Batman's grounded, unpolished aesthetic from its characters, but with the further expansion of this universe, it would be a disservice if we tried to discard the colorful and meta-based characters of Batman's mythos. Despite what Warner Bros. Wants you to believe, Batman and the world he lives in is inherently silly. Let's embrace that, but treat it with the same respect we do a Batman, a Joker, or a Riddler. Matt Reeves has talked about the idea of introducing Mr. Freeze, and talks about how grounding him would be a fun challenge. Hopefully he means grounded as in a character that you can relate to, and not realistic like the Nolan verse did to Bane. I love Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, well before he turns into a simp for Talia at the end, but that's the farthest you can get to Bane. Okay, second farthest. Tony Zuko is a mobster in the comics and TV shows that is best known for being responsible for the death of Dick Grayson's parents. Assuming the Penguin show will have his rise to power during the aftermath of the Batman, Zuko can work as an old-fashioned gangster that grounds this world in reality while embracing the emergence of the fantastical with Mr. Freeze. Obviously, if I'm introducing Zuko, I must be introducing...
I don't believe this!
You're through, Zuko. Forever.
Give us Robin, you cowards. And I mean Robin the kid in the red and green leotard. Not a 20-year-old man who's slumming it with a 30-year-old man. Or police officer that's named after the bird used for cheap fan service. Still love Rises, by the way. Robin has to be a kid. 16 if you really want to age him up. Because him being a child is the whole point to his character. He's the childlike fun and innocence that Bruce was stripped of. And is Bruce giving a boy the chance to not end up as tortured as he was? Obligatory scene from Young Justice?
I shouldn't be surprised, since you indoctrinated Robin into crime fighting at the ripe old age of 9.
Robin needed to help bring the men who murdered his family to justice.
So he could turn out like you?
So that he wouldn't.
This version of Batman is clearly unwell and learning to not just be a better hero, but a better person. Throwing a kid to force him to grow out of his destructive behavior is perfect for drama and development.
You were right, you know. Not bringing me along. You knew I'd take it too personally.
It wasn't that, Robin. It wasn't that at all. Zuko's taken so much. Caused you so much pain. I couldn't stand the thought that he might take you, too.
Come on, partner. It's been a long night.
Now my story ideas will be a mix of beat for beat and bullet points due to some of the things I thought about a little bit more than others. The Batman 2 takes place close to a year after the first one. It starts with a scene of Batman figuring out a crime dealing with a man kidnapping girls and has an affinity for Alice in Wonderland, obviously being Mad Hatter. Just a cold open to show Bruce's growth from the last movie. He's a better detective and crime fighter. Remember that scene from The Batman?
I'm vengeance.
I'd have a callback to that moment after defeating Mad Hatter. He'd rescue the captured girls, and when they ask who he is, he'd say, "I'm the Batman." After the first film, Bruce has devoted himself to changing Batman into a symbol of hope, having a gray and blue suit to come across as friendlier to the people he saves.
New look? A sidekick? Do you mind if I ask you?
As a matter of fact, I do. Let's just say I set out to scare criminals, not children.
Fair enough.
He's also using the Bruce Wayne persona to help the less fortunate, inspired by Selena's words, and working personally with Mayor Bel Real so it doesn't get corrupted like the Wayne Renewal Fund. To celebrate Gotham's return to relative normalcy after the floods, side note, I don't really want to deal with the 0-year no man's land wasteland Gotham, because I feel Dark Knight Rises did that, and we just introduced this version of the city. Why destroy it already? The circus is in town, with crowd favorite the Flying Graysons. Bruce Wayne attends, and we know what happens. Mobsters ask for protection money, owner refuses, mobsters retaliate with the death of their star attraction. Bruce takes in a young Dick Grayson, which brings us to the inner conflict of this film. Is Bruce overextending himself? He's trying to be a good CEO, a symbol of hope, and now a father to a lonely kid. Bruce doesn't have the time for him, and it leads to tension between the two and Alfred. Dick Grayson is a way for us and Bruce to see how he acted after his parents were killed. Angry, vengeful, and determined to find their killer. With next to no supervision, he goes out at night inspired by Batman, trying to find his parents' killer. Picture the Amazing Spider-Man when Peter is looking for Ben's murderer. You could have a scene where Batman finds out about his manhunt, reprimanding him for the danger he's putting himself in.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing.
And Dick says,
I don't care what happens to me.
showing Bruce how alike they truly are.
If only I could have stopped him. I saw him coming out of the tent. I knew he didn't belong there.
I know. You keep thinking, if only I'd done something differently. If only I could have warned them. But there isn't anything you could have done. There isn't anything either of us could have done.
Your mom and dad? Does the hurt ever go away?
I wish I could say yes. But it will get better in time. For you. That I promise.
The primary plot of the film would be that Batman is investigating a killer who freezes its victims. Hopefully they keep Batman's detective skills in this franchise. Mr. Freeze would be the main villain of the story, implementing his Batman the Animated Series origin into the flooding of Gotham. Victor Freeze and his wife Nora were working for a shady corporation to make cryogenic technology to save people with illnesses. The owner of the company came to their lab to shut their operation down due to it going over budget, and that's when Riddler's bombs went off, causing Nora to drown. He's looking for revenge towards the company for destroying the last thing he and his wife had left. Dick would find Zuko and refrain from killing him, showing Grayson's good heart and giving him what Bruce never will get: closure. He'd aid Batman in stopping Freeze from killing the head of the company, and the final confrontation between Batman and Freeze wouldn't be a battle, but a conversation. Batman sympathizes with this situation, telling him that he also lost people, bringing him to the same edge of revenge or justice.
I mean to pay back the man who ruined my life. Our lives.
Even if you have to kill everyone in the building to do it.
Think of it, Batman. To never again walk on a summer's day with a hot wind in your face and a warm hand to hold. Oh yes, I'd kill for that.
Freeze surrenders going to prison, but Batman is able to sneak a picture frame of him and his late wife into his cell. Batman now has a better relationship with Dick, and he empathizes with people's motives to do crime, a theme furthered from the first film. And the movie ends. If the ending sounded rushed, it's because it is. I don't really know how to interweave each plotline into a satisfying way, but that's basically my broad ideas. For the third film, Court of Owls is no doubt the endgame, but unless they're doing a fourth, I'd like to see the Arkham Breakout story they set up with Riddler and Joker. On the Joker, I like Barry Keoghan's betrayal, but I'm still not feeling his design. It's like people try to see how far they can get away from the character's signature look with each new one. The theme of this movie would be, what does loss bring a person to do or become? It's shown in Mr. Freeze and Batman, one going towards revenge, while the other has used loss to make sure others don't face the same pain, while Robin is in the middle of the conflict until the end when he chooses Bruce's ideal.
All it takes is one bad day to reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. That's how far the world is from where I am. Just one bad day. You had a bad day once. Am I right? I know I am. Why else would you dress up as a flying rat? You had a bad day, and it drove you as crazy as everybody else.
That's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry my videos schedule is so all over the place, but just videos are hard to make. I'm sorry. I'm not a fast editor. So, next video, I don't know. The Thor Love and Thunder trailer came out. That looks cool. That's all I got. See you next time.